So need to dig out the 205. It's crammed in there at the moment beside the 309 and the Ferrari. Need to dig it out tonight because I'm going tomorrow to pick up a new suspension setup for it. I've just done BC Racing coilovers on the front of this car, and they've worked out really well. Even though they weren't for a 205, they're actually off a 206. But I couldn't find any BCs for 205, and I do like BCs, they're really good. So yeah, a setup came up for sale on Facebook. It's all custom made, but it looks like it's been done really, really well. It's got Nitron rear shocks, and it's going to do away with the rear torsion bar on the 205 as well. So it's bugged me for a while, to be honest, that I can't set up anything on the back of the 205, or someone else can't set it up. I don't do that kind of thing, but you know what I mean. There's been no adjustment on anything really, so it's just nice, this new setup. I'm going to be able to adjust absolutely everything, so it's going to be a nice bit of kit. And a bit of a bonus as well, on a few occasions now, on track days, and even once out on the road, I had a nightmare with brake pads falling out of the back of this thing, and then my foot going straight to the floor, and basically the piston ended up breaking on the disc itself, which obviously in something that's 430 horsepower and does the speed that this thing does, you don't want that. You don't want that on any car, never mind this thing on track. So the added bonus to this kit I'm buying is that it's actually come in with Willwood 2 pots as well. So that's going to be, again, a nice little upgrade for the 205. It does mean that I'm going to have to run a hydraulic handbrake because it hasn't got the facility for handbrake cables. So I am going to have to run a hydraulic handbrake. But yeah, I think it's going to be nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this out of here and get it onto the ramp and strip the beam off, because the guy that I'm having the setup off, he's taking my old beam, which is an uprated 309 beam. He's taking that in part exchange for what he's selling. So it kills two birds with one stone for me. Helps him out, keeps his car rolling, and yeah, it means that I haven't got to try and sell my beam. So that's a bonus. So yeah, I'm gonna move it out of here now, and I'll get a little video while it's up on the ramp and just show you what my plans are for the underside of this car while I'm doing all this suspension conversion. So I'll show you the underside of the 205 just before we make any changes to it, because there is going to be quite a lot of changes going on under here over the next few days. So I recently put these new BC Racing dampers on to match the front. Again, they were off for 206. So I read online they didn't fit a 205, but there they are, clearly on. So yeah, the beam is coming off, 309 beam is coming off. I'm going to tidy all this up while I'm under here, because it's all just, none of this is, it's all just surface rust, but it's a perfect opportunity for me to tidy it all up. And then this is my charge cooler tank, so this feeds obviously my charge cooler. This holds about 25 litres of water. Now when I made it just to do a job, and it did a job very, very well. Put these fins on for cooling. This is Davis Craig EWP 150 pumps, which was the biggest 12 volt pump you could buy. And then I literally ran garden hose, because I wasn't sure whether this was going to work. I didn't want to spend on expensive AN fittings and stuff, so I ran this garden hose which carried the water to the front and then back again, and it worked really, really well. So, but I didn't really think about the fact that this tank is on the same side as me when I'm sat in it. So as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of weight in that tank with the water sloshing about, especially with it being on the same side of the car as me. So the plan now is to ditch this, take this tank off. In fact, I've just been looking at it and I think I can modify it and make it fit, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take the fuel tank off this thing. Still runs the stock fuel tank, and I don't need a fuel tank that big. So the plan is to take the fuel tank off. I'll fabricate a new fuel tank just on one side of the car, and then on the other side of the car I will have this charge cooler tank. So in effect it will spread the weight evenly, just the same as it is now basically. This tank from factory is on both sides of the car, underneath where the rear seats would have been. So I'm going to replace that with two small versions of this, one with fuel, one with water, and I'll save some weight and also just equal the weight out a little bit. So that's the plan. Should be a lot better. And then I believe this new suspension setup is a hell of a lot lighter than this beam. So I know the guy did say that I think possibly this brace here is going to have to be removed for to allow for the suspension. So we'll have a look at that when it comes, if need be. It'll have to come out, but like I said, I'm going to tidy all this up while I'm in here anyway. It's going to look completely different by the time it all goes back on, but going to get this thing jacked up and start taking this rear beam off. Need to remember to take them out, because I'm going to need them. It's all still in really nice condition considering how many track days it's done. All really tiny, to be fair.
Still surviving your driving.
Huh?
Huh?
Looks good.
You happy?
I'm happy.
Look at that smile.
Being too long.
Get to play with your toys.
Yeah. Gonna clean all up under here while everything's off. To be fair, I mean that it's all just muck anyway. Like, that's still really clean under there, if you look. Not bad, is it? It's certainly not bad. So this is about as homemade as it gets. So I was on a track day at Anglesey, and like I just said before, my brake pads kept falling out. Despite putting in a new kit that is supposed to hold these in, goes in there with a little pin in it, supposed to hold these in, they kept coming out. Lost them. Anyway, I was up at a track day at Anglesey and lost the brake pads again. Luckily the local car motor factors had a set in stock, and this, as you can see, is an angle grinder spanner. Absolute bodge, I know, but it did the trick and got me through the rest of the day. So literally drilled a hole in it, bolted it on there, and then drilled a little hole there and put a bolt in there, and it retained these and stopped them falling out. There's plenty of movement to allow them to free themselves off, but yeah, it at least stopped them coming out. I had it that many times. I think 4 occasions these came out, and you can even see I even went to the hassle of putting a new caliper on it just to rule that out as well, and I still kept losing parts off this back end. So yeah, it was a bit of a bodge, but it worked and it got me through the day. So there we go. Beams off. Very light's not great in here now, but it's quite dirty under there. I'll give all that a good clean up before the new setup goes on. But got the old beam off there. This was an uprated 309 GTI beam for the extra width, the extra track width, and with uprated torsion bars, anti-roll bars. It was a very good spec beam, to be fair, but this new setup is going to be far better. I've been wanting to get this off for a while. Weighs an absolute ton. So yeah, this new setup is going to be much better. Really excited. So I'm going to go home now and have a shower, go to bed, and then get up early in the morning for a trip down to Buxton to pick up the new setup. So yeah. So I'm back on the 205 this morning. Got up early, 5 o'clock this morning, to get over to Buxton to pick up my new suspension setup. Really pleased with it. Really nice bit of kit. So here we go. So this is all custom made. Satchel Engineering do a kit that utilises the original rear beam. This is all custom made, one-off. The guy had made for his race car. What a bit of kit it is. So it runs Nitron rear shocks. These hubs are billet custom made aluminium hubs, and a bonus for me as well is that he's also got Willwood calipers on there as well, J-hook discs. It's got this titanium bladed anti-roll bar on as well, which if you turn it over, it's got these kind of posh pins that you can pull out and set it to different points on there for, I'm assuming, different stiffnesses and stuff like that. And then obviously I've got, which is where the satchel one I believe doesn't kind of compare to this, all this is adjustable. Everything is adjustable, so can do camber, can do toe, can do everything on there. So it's a really nice bit of kit, really happy with it. And it also weighs a hell of a lot less than the original beam, so that in itself is a bonus. You know, we're going to save a fair bit of weight. Obviously now with these Nitron shocks, the rear end is also going to be height adjustable, dampening. I'm going to be able to get the car fully set up on this, rather than before with the original beam where you couldn't really do a lot. This one is now going to allow me to take the car somewhere and have it fully set up for track. You know, bear in mind this is just a track car, so you know, some people are probably thinking this is overkill, especially for a CTI. But you know, it's my track car, and consumables on it are cheap. You know, tyres are cheap, brakes are cheap. So it's worth spending on for me. You know, I don't plan on giving my track days up anytime soon. I want the car to be as good as possible on track, so it makes sense for me to do stuff like this. I love turning up at the track, especially in a 205 Cabriolet, and people being amazed by it. You know, because the spec of this thing, I'd be absolutely amazed if there is a better spec 205 CTI. I know there's plenty of big spec 205 GTIs about, but I'd be absolutely amazed if there's a better spec 205 CTI worldwide. I know that's a big statement, but I honestly believe that. I don't think there's another 205 CTI in the world with the spec that this car has got. So, and I'd put money on that. So, let's have a quick look. So my plan now, as you can see, it is pretty horrible under here. But it is all just surface, so there's no actual holes I've got to deal with. Oh, actually, apart from that one. Spoke too soon, didn't I? Got to do that little bit there. Now all this, where these pipes run through, this is all going to be coming out. Because my plan now is to drop this original GTI fuel tank, take that off, take this charge cooler tank off, and I will be fabricating a new fuel tank with a charge cooler tank this side, just to even all the weight out. It'll move it all forward slightly as well. This is all going to get wrapped to painted under here, so that will look really, really nice as well. Protect it all. Any rust that I do come across that is kind of structural, obviously I'll deal with that, but I don't think there's much here. I believe I've got to take this beam out anyway for the suspension to fit, so we'll have a look at that. Obviously if I have to take that out, I'm not keen on just taking it out and leaving nothing there in place. So if I do end up having to take that out, which I believe I do, then I will fabricate something to replace it, whether it's a strut brace or something. I'm not happy with just taking it out and leaving it out. I know the inside of the boot is caged, so it might well be that I can just run an extra bar in the boot or something. I'm just not keen on taking that out and just having it gone. I'd rather replace it with something. So we'll get the suspension fitting and then we'll deal with all that. Yeah, and I reckon I'm going to have to turn this around quite quickly because I can't have it sat on my ramp not moving for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I am going to have to turn this around, pull my finger out with this now, get all this on and get the car rolling again. My only other worry about this, which I don't think I've mentioned, is this beam was actually off of a wide arch 205, so a dimmer style, if you like, 205. I haven't measured the width of this. I am literally going to bolt it up and see how it looks. If it looks like the wheels are going to stick out too far, then I will have to do something with the arches, and that'll be worth it. It'll be worth it to get this set up on, so that's yet to be seen. I could try and measure, but how accurate that'll be, I don't know. I would rather just bolt it up, chuck a wheel on, have a look. The guy who was running it before me, he was running 15mm spacers and ET0 wheels. So I'm hoping without spacers and normal offset wheels, I might be somewhere near. But again, you know, that's not to say that I'm not going to have to run some kind of wide arch on it. But like I say, if I'm going to all this effort, it really is the least of my worries, putting a set of little arches on it if I have to. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So one of the other jobs I'm going to be tackling, while I'm in here. Excuse the state of all this, by the way. It is literally just like dust. Car's been parked now for 12 months, so that fuel swirl pot there, I built that quite a while back now. It's done a cracking job, to be fair, but as time's gone on and I've thought more about safety, etc., I don't really want a fuel swirl pot that big. It's probably really hard to tell in the video the actual size of it, but I mean, that is huge. It holds about, I don't know, 8 litres of fuel. It's overkill, really. And I don't want that in the car with me anymore. You know, I don't really have the option to run like a bulkhead in this car. So my plan is to, when I build the fuel tank, is I'm going to incorporate a fuel swirl pot into the tank. So it's underneath the car. It's away from me. You know, God forbid anything ever happens. I've seen a few track day videos now where people's cars have caught fire, or, you know, God forbid, come off and had a serious accident. That thing could quite easily rip off the boot floor, and I've got 8 litres of fuel rolling around in the interior with me, so I don't want that in there anymore, so that's going to go. So yeah, the car's going to be having a major overhaul over the next few weeks, and it has got to be done over the next few weeks. I've got track day booked in November, 2 days at Spa, 1 at Nürburgring, where this car will be going. But obviously before I go over there, I need to take this car out on a couple of track days, Alton Park, Anglesey, etc. It's got to go there for a couple of track days before I go towing it over to Europe. The last thing I want to do is get over there and then discover I've got a problem. So yeah, I'm going to crack on, get this fuel swirl pot ripped out, get the charge cooler tank ripped out, and I can start cleaning the floor up then. Fuel tank's going to come out too today. I can clean all the floor up, and I can start making plans for some new stuff. It's going to be quite a lot of work, this, but the final result is going to be worth it, 100%. This car is going to be so much better for the jobs that I've got planned over the next few weeks. So there we have it. What a mess under here. Wow. I bet it looks absolutely horrendous on camera, but it is all surface. To say, apart from a hole there, all this will come up okay. It's just flaky, but I need to transform this. I can't leave it like this, so I've took the fuel tank down. I'm quite surprised actually, these normally go really bad behind the fuel tank, and again, although it's a little bit flaky, it's all solid. So this is good up here. So yeah, the plan now is going to be charge cooler tank there. If I have to dome the top, I will. And fuel tank here. So it's pretty much going to be split down the middle. Fuel tank, charge cooler tank, fuel tank. And that way then I can pipe in the original breather for the tank. And I will run the original filler pipe for the tank as well. It's pointless complicating it with extra filler points and stuff like that. So I've disconnected the swirl pot underneath, so I'll get up there now and take that out. And yeah, I'm going to get the grinder out with the flat wheel on and start cleaning all this up. All bits like this, these brackets that used to hold the spare wheel mount, they'll all be cut off. Any holes that don't need to be here, like that massive one there, these will have to be filled. So that hole there was for, if you see, this is my charge cooler tank. It's a really nice tank, but that there, as you can see, it's quite tight. You can see in there. You see all the holes. A cylinder that goes down into the tank. Well, I designed this tank so that you could fill it full of ice, and it works an absolute treat. I've got my pump mounted to the side. It's actually a really nice little tank. It's one that I made myself, so I reckon that will fit back on. If I have to make a few modifications to it, I will, but I reckon that's going to go back on. And then this original fuel tank, I'll clean that up because it's actually in really good condition, and I'll probably be able to get a few quid for that, because there is people I see on the Peugeot forums wanting tanks quite often, so I can probably sell that GTI tank. But yeah. Oh dear. I've just caused myself a bit of work, but the end result will be worth it. Do you reckon, Marley? Huh? What are you saying? You gonna help me? Huh? Do you reckon? You reckon you can do much? What are you saying? Not sure, are you? Oh my god. Well, it has been years since I had a hairline like that. Jesus Christ. What a what a messy job. Jesus. But oh my god. But I'm making progress. That's the main thing. So, as you can see, I've cleaned all this up now. This is all still looking pretty rough, but it's all the rust is off. Well, I say all the rust is off. The you know, the flaky stuff is off. This will all primer up and put some zinc etch primer on it and it'll be grand. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely I'm getting there. This is what we've got in the boot at the moment. Battery in the battery box there. That's going to be coming out, moving. I'm going to get a small battery to go in place of this. And obviously there's my fuel swirl pot. That's going to be coming out. And yeah, I think I'm going to rip all this carpet out as well. There's no point in that being in there. It's just hanging there looking messy. So take all that out. Maybe boot open thing, take that out. There's no point in that being there. All these pipes, these are all loose now, so yeah, these can come out. I don't actually know if that's got any fuel in, but I'll use this 044 pump underneath the car with my new fuel tank, and all these fuel lines and stuff, they'll come in handy too if I run them under the car, because these are all rubber. So if I end up going through the car with them, then I'll use nylon line so that it don't smell it inside the car. But I'm going to stop here now for 10 minutes, have a quick tidy up, because the floor feels horrible under my feet. So I'm going to have a quick tidy up, gather, state of my face, oh my god. I'm going to gather all my tools together and everything else, have a nice bottle of water, sandwich, and then crack on. So there we have a completely empty boot now. It is an absolute mess, as you can see, from years and years of dust and grime, and but everything's out of there now. A whole load of parts out here now. Battery box, swirl pot, but it's all out and ready for me to start tidying up and make all the new setup on it. Right, so I've got all the new suspension lifted up into place, and I've been able to just mark out a few bits. So I was talking about having to get rid of this bar and not being keen on it. Well, I'm not going to have to get rid of that completely. Looking up there now, it only just fouls it. So I am going to get rid of half of it. I'm going to cut it in half. Probably kind of where you can't really see it on the camera, but where this hole is, I'm going to go halfway in between that hole, and then I will I'll enclose it, so that will stay in the boot floor, which I really wanted. I didn't think it was a great idea to take it right out, but I can get away with cutting it in half. As you can see, setup looks really good on there now. Bear in mind, I've still got a lot of work to do under here. You know, all this needs painting and a bit more prep work on the boot floor, etc. yet, but you can see it's gonna look really well and do a great job. Now, one of the biggest issues I've got, which, let's be honest, I saw it coming, the absolute state of my face. One of the biggest issues I've got is that you can see when the wheel is on there, it sticks out past the body. So it's not the end of the world, we'll get around it. This is going to be worth it. So I'm kind of thinking I can do one or two things. I can either try and get a wheel with a slightly different offset, because I have got plenty of room at the back to move the wheel in. So I can try and get a wheel with a different offset, or I'm going to have to try and do something with this back arch, which it is a bit of a shame because I didn't really want to change the look of the body of this car, but at the same time I haven't got a lot of choice now. I'm committed, so I don't know which route I'm going to go with yet as to whether or not I'm going to change the arch. I might widen the arch, whether that'll be, I'm not keen on just putting a stick on. The easy route is to put a stick on arch, just a bolt on arch, but it's just going to look crap. It's going to look really bad. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do with that yet, but that's going to be the last job. I'll get the beam on, get it sat on, get all the work done underneath, and then I'll tackle the arch and decide what I'm going to do with it, because the wheel as it is now is not going to go on, or it will, but it'll stick out, so which is no good. But yeah, all in all, I'm happy. The setup is worth it, so I'll carry on cracking on. I've made some good progress today. Happy today with what I've done. The old girl is going to be a different animal when it's back on the track. It's been 12 months since this car came out, and this rear setup is definitely going to make a big difference. And bear in mind as well, I have also put BC Racing on the front, and I've got all new bottom arms for it. Standard bottom arms, but they're all brand new with new bushings and stuff like that. I did change once upon a time to spherical bearing bottom arms on the front, and I didn't like it, because I do still sometimes use this car on the road, and the spherical bearing ones were just harsh. They were really harsh. Like, you know, I can deal with harsh, but it was too much for me. Every time you pulled away from a junction, it felt like the front end of the car was going to come off. I just didn't like them, so I went back to 309 bottom arms with normal bushings in, and yeah, they work really well. So yeah, that's it. Like I say, a lot of changes have been made to this car since it's been off the road, so I'm expecting good things from it, really. It's going to feel completely different. I'm quite excited to get out and drive it. Don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of work on my plate over the next few weeks to get this car boxed off. But that being said, you know, it's top of my list at the moment to get this back together and back out, because I'm really missing now doing my track days. So I'm going to crack on. Next few weeks I won't be downing tools off of it. I'll be cracking on and getting it back out. I cannot wait to bring you guys some video footage of this thing out on track. It is ridiculously fast. Like, yeah, it's so fast. It's surprising. It surprises a lot of people. So I can't wait to do a few videos of the track days coming up. I think you'll really like it. Are you ready to go home, Marley? Huh? Are you fed up? You look cosy, mate. So that's it. I'm leaving it there for today. Not doing any more. I've had enough. Happy with my progress, to be fair. It's I've done quite a bit, so I'm not going to push it. I'm out in the Lambo tomorrow. Organised a meet to go up to Anglesey Cars and Coffee, so I need to go and wash that yet and get that ready for tomorrow. So I've done enough for today. I think it's time to go home. So Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll bring you another update in the next couple of days. And then, yeah, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some real progress with this car. It's going to look completely different. And then I can't wait to get it out on track and show you some videos of that as well. So, thanks very much again for watching, and I'll see you all soon.